Alright, today I'm going to be explaining masteries. Side note, if you hear some background music, that's because my sister playing a bunch of songs. Anyway, I will be going with the most modern iterations of the masteries because this shit changes so fucking much it makes my head hurt. Anyway, masteries is one of the many power systems in the Lookism verse, and to me, I basically count it as the main power system in the Lookism verse. But how do you obtain it? Basically, if you train or fight so much, you enter the path to mastery, and then eventually you encounter a wall. And depending on how you break through this wall will depend on the mastery that you get. If you are incapable of breaking through the wall, then your power just capped right there. Like, that is where you are hard stopping. But that's also not true because it is entirely possible for you to train and obtain a mastery. Zack has done it and obtained 2, Gongsup has done it and obtained his speed mastery, James has done it and obtained his speed mastery, and I have no idea how Gite got his own. There are 4 types of mastery, each associated with its own color, and in the order that I explain them will be the order I rank them from weakest to the strongest. Coming in at number 4 is definitively the weakest mastery, the endurance mastery, or the toughness mastery, or the durability mastery, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's associated with the color green, as you can see, guns shrouded in a green aura. And what it does is when you take a specific stance, it amps your durability to an unknown amount. And yes, I did say an unknown amount because it is entirely possible for you to train your mastery. Zack has done it and he now has the durability comparable to that of a gigantic iron bell. Gun has done it and now he has just the most durable body in the series. Anyone can train the mastery. The downside to this mastery is you can't have to stand still and let people hit you, which that is always a bad idea. Coming in at number 3, the power mastery. This one's associated with the color red and it simply just makes it do more damage. That's kind of all. Coming in at number 2, the technique mastery, which is associated with the color pink. The technique mastery is very complicated, but in the simplest term, it simply raises your level of your techniques. Good example of this would be Eli, who after gaining technique mastery gained the ability to deflect and redirect attacks. Alongside that, he overcame his one weakness, which that he couldn't use his baton in the same animalistic way that he usually just fight, making it so his baton when he uses them actually nerfs him. But after obtaining technique mastery, that is no longer a problem. But just because Eli had the technique mastery and retains the ability to deflect and redirect attack doesn't mean that everyone's going to get this. A good example of this will be Gongsup, who gained the ability to automatically counter anyone who hits him. Or Sangbek, who gained the ability to dirty fight efficiently. Once again, depending on your fighting style will depend on the type of elevation to the technique mastery gives you. The final mastery, and in my opinion the strongest one, is the speed mastery, associated with the color blue or white. I generally cannot tell. This one's also pretty self-explanatory. It just makes you faster, which I cannot think of a single moment where being faster than your opponent is just a downside. On top of that, there's some extra stuff you can do with your mastery, such as substitution, which essentially means if you don't have a particular mastery in a stat, you can substitute your already current mastery for that stat. A good example of this would be when James uses power mastery to substitute for his speed mastery to give him an explosive speed boost. Or when Zack uses speed mastery to substitute for the fact that he doesn't have a power mastery to break Sangbek's guard. I know there's obviously not this picture, I just don't have a screenshot of it. First stuff you can do with masteries is mastery combination, which depending on the masteries you have, you can combine them together to do whatever the fuck this is. 2 combination of masteries we have seen in this series is the speed and power mastery and the speed and technique mastery. Just note if you don't have the durability to do speed and power mastery, then you'll fuck your hand up. Just note, after the latest chapter, PTJ retconned it, so if your fighting style does need a mastery to work, that means it cannot actually be copied. The last thing I want to talk about is the 2 forgotten masteries, that being the resilience mastery and the gap mastery. Both of them are associated with the color purple. What the resilience mastery do is simply just amps your recovery rate, so you'll just be recovering hell of a lot quicker than you regularly would. And as of the gap mastery, is the only mastery I would say is definitively useless because, well, a couple arcs later it kinda just got retconned. What the gap mastery did was allow you to see the invis attack, which was completely useless because it got retconned that if you have enough fighting experience or just the speed mastery you could actually react it. So it just became a useless mastery.